Great. And well, you told me just that you already work around 11 years for extra. How have you seen that development? I mean, there must be some quite some things in internet development recent years. Mm-hmm. do apply the lessons learned, what Excel have learned. And you heard that they have grown a lot. So Alice, when you talk about the situation right now, I mean, like you say, there are a lot of things changing and have changed already. Marketing has become a much more technical job to do. Still including that creative part that is needed, and technical and creative person that is sometimes not always the same person. But now you're here, and you have grown a lot. What will be the next step for yourself when you talk about marketing, demand generation, and especially around that, the relation with the customers? What will be the next step for yourself in that? Well, I think the last couple of years is like a hurricane. Mm-hmm. Experienced a lot. We did not only go in the Netherlands, we also rolled down to other countries. Of course, brought a lot of different issues like localization, local rollout, a lot of issues we learned from. Did a lot of work. Did a lot of technical implementation. Mm-hmm. Tried a lot of innovations, a lot of new channels, finding the right mix. Created a lot of special programs. We can roll out easily different things. Yes. We are doing this year, maybe next year in another country. All right. We don't know. So you need to prepare for that. You need to make sure you have a really strong foundation with the right people. This year was an important year because we saw that the online marketing is delivering like 70 to 80% of our leads.
That's quite a lot. Yeah.
And every country was doing that with their own budget, with their limited focus, because they have to do all these other channels as well, with their own media agency. So that wasn't really working out in terms of the number of leads that we spend our money. I believe not really effectively. So for this year, a really big thing is that the online marketing part, demand generation, we centralize. So that's now here in Delft. Of course, working closely together with our international colleagues. We're working with one media agency, making sure all the money we spend on Google, on social media advertising, etc., that is spent in the most effective way. And we've seen a really big boost in that. And but we need to do more. So the growth we've seen in the last couple of years has become even bigger because we want to, of course, achieve exponential growth. So that's really the thing for this year, is that we're looking at the last part of the year, and we're thinking like, oh, we're going to realize that. So what we realized is that all the projects that we did to improve something or launch new campaigns, and it took quite a lot of time to realize or to launch it because we're working in separate teams, like handing over jobs. Now it's your turn, now it's your turn. And we're not really working agile. So what we're doing now is that we've appointed 5 really important projects like SEO, like a really important campaign for one of our solutions, an accountancy campaign, and creative strategies around that. And they're adopting the Scrum working methodology to make sure that we can deliver quicker and make it smaller. Test and learn.
Exactly.
And fail fast, fail often.
Exactly.
So that's really the thing for this year. It's really a new way of working, and people have to get used to that because all of a sudden it's not me or my content creation. I don't know. I have to work in a multidisciplinary team, and I have to work and gain other skills and make sure that we don't create bottlenecks in people's expertise. So it's never a dull moment, but I believe that if we succeed, we can do projects quicker and get better results faster. So
So, if I understand you right, that you have learned already quite some lessons at Exact. You have turned around from having different media agencies in different countries back to one media agency, but still with that local presence in different countries.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different coordination.
Yeah.
And that works a lot better, you say.
Yeah.
You have applied much more a way of working with Scrum and Agile methodology.
Yeah.
And so if you see that for the future, what would be some key items to work on for Exact?
I think for us it's some key items. What's important now is that we're working a lot in the bottom of the funnel.
Okay.
So searching for the people who are ready to buy.
Yeah.
It's like we call it the roasted chicken.
Yeah.
You only have to call them and they will.
The marinated chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Of course, if you want to grow this fast, you'll reach the end of that. And if not, you'll reach the end of your money before that. So
exactly.
For us, we've always worked on the top of the funnel, so more of the awareness phase and engaging earlier. But I think now the time has come that we really have a sense of urgency on doing that even better.
Yes.
So the Scrum teams who are working on it right now have the assignment to create more balance in that. Because we cannot depend only on the roasted chicken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do more. We need to do. We need to find different content, different tactics, different channels, and even optimize something as simple as optimizing your landing page to make sure that people who do engage with you are willing to fill in a form, for example.
Exactly.
That's in the end where it all boils down to. You can get people to your content, but if you don't know how to catch them, then you won't be able to nurture them.
Yeah.
So all of that is about technology, of course content, but a really important thing is also data.
Yeah.
So that's also a really big thing. Even if you think you have the data, and then you look again, and then you need more data. So we have a couple of really specialized people working on that, but we need to improve and make sure that we are able to build, test, learn in a quicker phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is also one thing that you have applied and actually learned in the past years, that speed has turned up in terms of data and changes in data, and the whole process has speed up in comparing to the past years.
Well, yeah, it's always been really important, but all of a sudden it's become more important now. I think what we see now in terms of content marketing is that developments are going really fast. Especially because the internet offers so many cool things to consumers who are, of course, also in the B2B, they're a person. They expect that in a B2B environment as well. So you need to be able to keep up with that, to create different content, more interactive, more in line with current standards, make it more engaging, and at the same time make sure people can find it,
Exactly.
In terms of content marketing, that's a really big challenge because it also has the technical factor to it. So, but in terms of demand generation, it has also become, the developments have become way quicker.
Yes.
So channels and tactics that have worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. We recently saw a really big drop in online display.
Okay.
So then we had to decide, okay, do we want to spend more money on this? Because if we don't get leads out of it, it's money wasted. So I think we're deciding to tune that down
Okay.
and find new ways to advertise and get people in. For example, like 2 years ago, we didn't really believe that Facebook advertising would really help us a
Yes.
lot, but it actually is. So
Yeah.
now we're putting more money on that. So that's asking things from people. You know,
Yeah.
you have to have people who are curious to dive into that technology.
True.
And the funny thing is that we're a tech company,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of
Yeah.
software developers, but in a way our marketing people are getting more technical and techie persons.
Yeah.
You might even say nerd.
Yeah,
as
well, that is a compliment
Yeah.
nowadays, exactly.
Yeah. I don't see that as an insult. So
No.
no, it's really become different, and that's
True.
nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, you have explained that the marketing people are getting also more techy, and then how do you see? Is there also an exchange of knowledge when it comes to like marketing and knowledge between the tech guys, developers, and the more creative guys?
Well, until recently, we didn't really care about that until we saw that people with expertise, knowledge are bottlenecks in setting the end risk to your operation because they can slow down the process.
Yeah.
And that's why we started working in those scrum teams
Exactly.
to become more agile. And one of the KPIs is also that people teach each other to do things. Up until a certain point, because not everybody can be an expert in everything.
True.
There are a lot of things you can learn from each other, and you should be open to learn and to do things yourself. And that's really our goal for this approach that we've chosen, because then you can really be flexible and act on the things that you see happening. Yeah.
So, but I think that's very good because it means that there's a culture inside the company that is changing, where knowledge is more and more shared. And like you say, even if you're a tech company, it still means you have to get out there and then see what's going on in the world around you.
Yeah.
And well, I think that is also one thing. Often as entrepreneurs, we have to realize that it's not only about our company and our strategy, but the world around us is also changing.
Yeah.
And like like you said, Facebook has become much more interesting for you guys. And well, we see that also that Facebook has offered a lot more opportunities. Like we're now having Facebook Live. So you see that those kind of things are really changing. And you have, even as a tech company, you also have to see like what's going out there and what is changing around.
Yeah.
And maybe the tool that maybe your strategy is still okay, but the tool that you're using for that is changing. So you might need to reconsider that tool or channel. And that is something I think that's very true to realize and to evaluate. I recently did a holiday reflection where I told that often in summer times you tend to go on holiday if you have the time for that as an entrepreneur, but I think it's a very good thing to do. And that's also a very good moment to reflect, but of course other moments are suitable as well to sometimes reflect like, okay, where am I standing now with my processes, with the content that I use? Is it still updated, or do I need to go with a different flow that is coming up now?
And never be afraid to try new things, even if it's just in a pilot. That's what we did, for example, with the Facebook thing. We started with 2,000 euros and tried. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was a success, and now we're spending a lot of money there. And maybe next year it will be another channel. And it's all about finding the right mix. And knowing where your prospects and customers are, and in the end, the relevance is key. Yeah. You can talk about yourself, but it will not get you anywhere. If nobody's interested. That's what I always say. If people are not interested in what you have to say, it's that intersection of their challenges and the solution you can offer.
Exactly.
You know, that's where engagement really is.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you find that, then you can write really cool stuff, and people will be willing to listen.
Yeah.
You know, these days, getting people's attention is so hard.
Exactly.
So you better have a good story, or do nothing.
Yeah.
You will save money. Yeah.
Exactly. So when it comes to creating that content, how does it work for you and for the team of Exact? I mean, of course, you have your knowledge about software. You have your knowledge about like bookkeeping stuff, Exact Online, for instance.
Yeah.
That works cloud-based. People can easily access that. So you can share, of course, your knowledge about that, but that is one thing. How do you create that whole content where it not only stays to your knowledge, but also more the world around them?
Well, of course, we also work with a lot of customers or SMEs or accountants to make sure that they take part in our content or in our story as well. I think the first thing you have to do is, if you want to create something, is ask yourself, okay, what goals do I want to achieve with that? Do you want to inspire people, or do I want them to buy something now? Do you want them to click? Or you really have to ask yourself, what's their goal? What do I want to achieve? And what kind of call to action do I have for this piece of content? Then if you know what you want, you can start writing a briefing and think about, okay, why do we want this? Who has to read it? And what do you want someone to think after reading it? Or what do you want him or her to do? Well, in that process, of course, we always think about, okay, do you have internal experts, of course, the people who work a lot with our target audience, who can help with that? What do we know myself, but also do we have customers or maybe external experts in the market who can help us with that? And then in the end, of course, you have to decide what kind of asset do I want to make, and how can I make sure that it's interesting. If it's more inspiring and more on the entertaining side, well, you better make something which is entertaining, like an infographic or a nice animation or an interactive landing page. But if you want to dive somewhat deeper, you could also write a white paper and really go deeper into the subject. So it really depends on the people who you want it to read. Where are they in their buyer journey?
Exactly.
Because there are moments where you can really talk about software because people want to know at that point of time, but not all people are ready for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's something you really need to have to keep in mind if you're creating content. And that's why it's also good to look at your buyer journey and map all the things you have to see what's needed extra. And also before you start creating a campaign, think about what your goal is and what kind of data do I want to gather, and how am I going to work with those data to make sure that I achieve my goals.
Exactly.
And I think then last but not least, it's most important to align with your sales. Because if they're not going to do something with your hard-earned leads, then you might as well do nothing or do something different. So I think that's really important that we've gotten on the same page with our sales guys, agree on what they will call on and what not, what qualifies as a lead, and how many are we going to forecast, and make really good agreements on what you're going to do for them, and what they're going to do for you, because then you can create business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I understand you right, the relation with your customer has not only evolved to doing more business, but also to more doing on the terms of co-creating content and getting information from them to create that.
Yeah, of course. You always have a lot of people who are really enthusiastic about the product, who want to work with us, because it's also useful for them. we've created a lot of materials together with customers, especially accountants, who are really important for us.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of them who are really progressive and like an example for the rest of the market, who we want to partner up with.
Exactly.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, having worked with this audience for over 30 years, we also know quite a lot about best practices and how we can help. And, there are a lot of people working with the software, and it's helping them. So we do have something to tell about that, not only about the software, but also about, you know, what's going on in that world, and how can we help you.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I think that is a very good thing to say. I have to see that we are quite on our time already. So I see just one question from Johan here. Let me see. How do you see the interaction between people teaching and learning in this learning process? And how do you want to realize this to come to the best result without losing any knowledge at all in between? Let me see if I can touch that one. In between time. So let me capture that. How do you see that interaction between people? And I think that are mostly the customers.
No, I think he means in the Scrum teams.
Like how do you see the interaction between people teaching and learning in this learning process? And how do you want to realize this to come to a best result without losing any knowledge at all in between? There's already an update. Let me see. What is for you more important, the end result on the creation, or it's seeing you are in that interaction with the whole world in the end? And how do you cope with this worldwide demand? But I think, if I interpret the question right, it is that you as an organization have to learn in your learning process, dealing with the worldwide demand of your customers.
Well, I think what he means is about the Scrum teams, and that we have a KPI on people teaching each other. Of course, there's a risk that we are only busy teaching each other stuff and not delivering the result in the end. Of course, that's one of the KPIs, because that we see that you know, all those expertise, all those people who are bottlenecks as a really big liability, or not. No, I think it's an impediment to make that next step towards that really big growth. So that can be really practical. Like, oh, you know all about a website, teach me how to build a landing page myself.
Yes.
Or you know all about SEO, teach me the basic principles so I know how to write new content. So that's about knowledge sharing, the things we want to achieve. So that's for basic things that we now have to go to experts, more like stuff with work. We have a couple of people who can do that, and who have the basic knowledge, but not the expert knowledge.
Exactly.
And that's quite a big insight that I got only recently. So there's something we're working on hard right now. And we'll see if it brings us what we expect to do. But of course, the main KPIs are still generating more leads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Johan, for asking that question. We are already over time, so we have to close with this very interesting stuff from Alice and the story about how Exact developed the marketing in the past years. Of course, as told, Exact has great software like Exact Online, bookkeeping in the cloud. If you want to know more about Exact, you can easily go to exact.com or ask your questions later on our Facebook page. I can imagine that you have more detailed questions, or you just want to have a chat with a one-on-one person or a one-on-one chat. So feel free to send us an email. That can easily be done to sales@eurobiz.eu. So sales and then eurobizz.eu. feel free to send us an email or give us your questions on the Facebook chat or on the Facebook page. We'll be happy to answer them. And if you need more information about Exact, feel free to go to that website, exact.com, or send us your questions, and we will make sure that the right persons get your question. So thanks again for being here, and we hope to see you back. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Werner speaking from Eurobits. Right now I'm here in the office in Delft from Exact Software. Next to me, as I announced, beside me is Alice. And of course, we want to know everything about Exact and what they're doing with content marketing, with demand generation strategy. And we are very happy to have you here online. So I would say if you have any questions, we would like to answer them. We will, in between, try to answer them. And otherwise, we will let you know later where you can send your questions. So please let us know if you have any questions on the chat. Later on, we will also give you the email address where you can send them afterwards. So happy to have you here. And in the coming, let's say, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, we would like to give you an update on Exact and yeah, how they are dealing with content management. And of course, we want to share what you can learn from them with what I can say a struggle. So that's what we want to share this afternoon. Or you work